about that. It's about our spirits. But still, I give you a little bit of an insight on the energies. But I feel like we need a couple of minutes more to just arrive here. I know I'm late, and I wish I could say no. My old self would be saying sorry, and I know we want to rely on time, and it's important. But then again, we're very human and we're very in spirit and inspired and working with the spirit. And this is actually something that I was talking to one of my clients about in the past week, as how to be in the moment also means that there's no time. And this is something that has been in my system with me for quite some time. Let me lower the music a little bit. I'm going to turn it off in a while for those of you who are asking or who might be, thinking about it. But I'll explain in a couple of minutes. But yeah. So where was I? Oh, about the time. Yeah. Because the thing is, growing up someone half German, you sort of like get into the whole, you have to be on time ordeal. And because if there's one thing that is said about Germans is that they're very punctual. I know there's other cultures too. Please, this is a very broad, way of seeing it. But when you grow up with that pressure, and especially as a witchy ADHDer type of being, of course I've tried to mask and fit in and do that. And of course, when I'm dealing with clients, it's very important to be on time as well. But sometimes it just doesn't work. And I was talking to one of my clients, like I said, sorry, that music is a little bit too. Let me turn it off. And I was talking to one of my clients about this because this is something that I was taught by my Hawaiian teachers, that time is a concept that is just not very, how am I going to put it in a nice way? It's just, it exists, and, sometimes it needs to happen. But one of the things that my Hawaiian teachers taught me was, whenever something happens like this, like our gathering, it starts when it's supposed to start. It takes as long as it's supposed to take. It's present who's supposed to be there, and it ends when it's supposed to end. And those are like, if you go by all of these, you become very, in tune, I think, with spirit. But I remember that but it took me a while to understand that one. This is like the concept that one of my teachers gave me, and I read that. I don't know if you guys know. I think what's his name again? Uh, I keep saying his name wrong, so I'm going to probably destroy it here, but it's Dr. Ihikiliaka, I think, who wrote or who was, the main character in the book Zero Limits from Joe Vitale. Um and I think, if you look into this, I think he even says it in the book where he explains that, with with Dr. Ihiliaka, it's really hard to do workshops because you never know when he's going to show up. And if he's, and once he does show up, the workshop, that's when it starts. And having people from the Western world coming to learn, it's a little bit hard, right? So those are the books that I read when I was learning, when I was learning everything about the Hawaiian philosophy. But then, I went to Hawaii and learned from a Hawaiian teacher. And that was a whole other thing, because I remember in the beginning it was so weird because, and this was so funny because it was me and another German woman, it was the both of us at the same time doing that internship. Sorry, let me just check for the internet for a sec because I'm missing one cable. So it was the two of us there trying to learn, with her. And And I remember, I think it was the second or the first, I think it was the first day we got there. And we asked her, like, okay, so when do we start tomorrow? Right? Like, so, because we just arrived and it's like, okay, so what's the plan? Like, what's the structure? When are we going to get started? Right? And she was like, I don't know. We sleep in, we work when spirit works. And if spirit wants to start working at 11 o'clock in the morning, we do that. There's no 6 o'clock in the morning breakfast, 7 o'clock getting up and, doing other stuff. We don't have that. We work when spirit works. And if spirit wants to work until 3 o'clock in the morning, we're not going to get up at 6 o'clock, right? So that was pretty weird in the beginning, but then it was like, oh my God, she's all right. It's so incredible because you just, you get in there and it just, yeah, it just brings you into a different state. And that's why, I mean, I still say I'm sorry when I'm late because I know that, especially here in Europe and, being in Germany, I know for some people this is even something that has to do that, it has to do with their worth and everything. And so of course, I don't want anybody to feel bad about this. But I also have to listen to my inner clock. And sometimes my inner clock wants to start at 21 o'clock punctually and be here on time. But as you've probably noticed, a lot of the times it just doesn't happen. So I hope you can bear with me. And of course, you always have for anybody who comes here more often to come join us in these meditations. Don't worry if you're late either. There's no need to say you're sorry or whatever. Everybody who's here is in time. It's in the right time, right? And I actually encourage anybody who wants to come in later to come in later because, in the beginning, I explain a lot to anybody who is joining us for the first time. So if you've already been here, you might be going like, okay, May, I'm gonna come back in 20 minutes. Yeah, so take your time with that. I'm gonna try still to be a little bit faster about, where we're going right now. So if this is your very first time here, aloha, my name is May. I'm so sorry I've been talking so much. My name is May. I am your neurospicy cyber witch, and I'm helping you unravel anything that has to do with energies and highly sensitivity and your neurospiciness. I mean, I do speak mainly to ADHDers, but whoever's neurospiciness is here, I have clients all over the spectrum. So don't worry, you're here in the right place. If you are interested in how to work your own energetic waves to have them in a more aligned way for yourself so that you can create the life that you want. And so to get to that point, my today, and that's one of the things why we do what we do here today is because I have heard a lot of my clients going through a lot of overwhelm, a lot of things. I'm gonna say going through life. Sometimes it just feels so much that when you want to listen to your spiritual guidance, when you want to listen to your guides, it's very hard to hear them and it's very hard to see them. And so I've decided to create this space. This came to me in January with my spirits, with my dragons. Yes, I work with, I'm one of those witches that works with dragons. Um, I have three main dragons, and then I have a lot of other dragons that show up that come to me because they want to come go to someone. And yeah, but I have like my three main ones with me all the time, and they are here as well. They guided me to do this. So that's, that to the point of what is our spiritual guidance and what are the spiritual guides when I speak of them. For me, that's an overall name that encompasses angels, that encompasses ancestors are all in there. I know that there's, some shamans and some, spiritual, how do you say, directions, I'm gonna say, that have, specific outlined hierarchies on who is where and when and where that I know that exists. And if that feels good for you, please go ahead, Google it, find out for yourself. In my own personal experience, I have really not dove into that. Like from the very beginning, I know my teacher taught me, my shamanic teacher did teach me in the beginning But I discarded it at some point because I realized, if everything is energy, it doesn't matter what kind of, hierarchy they have. In the moment where I need support for whatever topic, then, I'm going to ask. And that's one of the things that I always do is I ask into the ether, into the world, into the spiritual realm. I ask who is going to help me with this topic. And then I open myself up to whoever wants to show up. And that can be like I just mentioned, an ancestor, one of my dragons. In my case, maybe you have other magical creatures like unicorns or, fairies. There's so many beautiful magical creatures and nature spirits that can come up. I just said nature spirits. The four elements. Sometimes there's more water, air, fire, any of the four elements. Maybe, the directional energies. Maybe it's, an extraterrestrial or terrestrial being, meaning someone who already walked this plane. That's why, because there's our ancestors, but there's also spirits that have been here and are now sort of like your spiritual guides that have, given their energy to support us here and to help us. And one of the things that I learned from my spirits because I had a deep spiritual teaching through shamanism and then also through spiritists that I used to, work with. And my learning and understanding of the spiritual realm is that they want to help. They are just waiting for us to come and say, you know what? I'm having trouble with this or that. And it's the little things up to the big things. All right. So even to finish the list, there's also spirit animals, like totem animals and things like that. I mainly work with spiritual spirit animals. And like that, I ask into the ether, like, hey, who wants to help me? And again, to come back to this, you can ask them like the tiniest things. I remember at one point, for example, living in Munich, it's a very bike friendly city, right? So a lot of people have bikes because, usually sometimes it even takes longer to get to from A to B with a car than it does, if you use a bike or something like that. So of course we had bikes, and I remember that there was a time where, because having the city bikes that we have, I remember my sister also, like me, having like a little basket on her bike, and the problem with the basket was that you know, um, at least for a while, people would put their garbage in her basket. And what did I do? Yes, I did. And this is why I'm telling you, because I want you to know that even for little things like that, I asked one of my spirit guides, I went in there and asked, dear, beautiful spiritual beings out there, is anybody out there? Can anybody help me, keep that basket clean and empty so that no one else, dunks their stuff in there? And one of my beautiful, wonderful spirit animals came up. A friend of that one, same type of animal, has, because that was for my sister's bike. But then I asked, do you have a friend who can do that with my bike as well? And that one is actually living in my bike and takes care of my bikes. And whenever I have one, and I remember at some point they were even wearing a helmet because I was like, if you're not wearing a helmet, I am for you. So that was pretty funny having a little beautiful animal in there, doing that. So that's like I'm gonna say that's like the fun part of working with your spiritual guides because they can be fun and they can, can be loving and show themselves like that. But then there's also another, then there's other spiritual no, sorry. Then there's other challenges that we have where we want to have support, and that's also great to ask our spiritual guidance. And that can be, I sometimes ask them, if I have a hard conversation that needs to happen, I ask them, "Hey, help me please, talk through my heart." Or I don't know, let's say I have trouble with one of my clients and I'm like, hey, there's this problem with my client. Is there anything that we can do? And then I ask them for it. All right. So that's one of the main things that you're going to be able to do here is ask your spirits for support. Whatever challenge you have coming in the next week, whether it is that you're missing an idea, whether it is that you want an idea, whether it is you want clarity, whether even if you say, oh, I don't know what to ask my spirits right now, why don't you use this time to get to know them? You can just say, hey, I want to get to, like, today, my intention, because that's the important part about these journeys is you have to have an intention. So what is your intention today? Is it to just get to know them or just say hello or see if there is a message for the coming week, right? Right now we're in between. Let me just check in the calendar right now because we are in the middle of Barbad's basket. I'm sorry, I'm probably saying it in the wrong way, but there's this basket happening in the planets right now. And I know that takes some time. We have Pluto going retrograde. Mercury is still retrograde, but it's ending on the 22nd, and Neptune is retrograde. Pluto and Neptune are still taking some time. Neptune is retrograde until December 11th, and Pluto until October 14th. So we still have them in our system. And then we have today, Galactic Activation Portal Day, which means those are like energetic, specially energetic days that are supposed to help us. Like for today, you should be aware of, of your, um, of anything in, like anything that triggers you or any conversations you have that they want to teach you something. And it was, in the beginning for me as a highly sensitive person many, many years ago, that was actually very helpful to know where the energies were. So, for example, next week, Mercury is retrograde until the 22nd, and then on the 26th, Saturn is going retrograde until 9th of December. All right, so right now we are having a very, very whoop time. And yeah, and the thing is, it used to be very helpful for me to know when the energies were, how, so that I could, react to them or just be aware as a highly sensitive person. Nowadays, I don't anymore so much. I'm going, I do talk about it a little bit, and every now and then I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what, like I can see Mercury's retrograde because my family tends to have very bad communication during this time. Um, it's like there's misunderstandings all over the place, just to give you an example, right? But, with the galactic activation days, I've noticed that if you take every day as something that, um, yeah, as something that is, oh, sorry, hold on. Achoo. Oh, my nose. That was, oh, sorry. There's energy moving. This is energy moving happening right now. No, but every day can teach us something. Every day has triggers, every day has learnings, and the more we actually just embrace and become comfortable in looking at ourselves and being present with ourselves, the easier it is with all of these energies. And, especially when it's like planetary things happening. Um, I mean, it's good to know when the energies are stronger towards us, but like I said, the more you make it a habit of just that being your state, right? Like being aware of yourself and being present with yourself every day, the easier everything gets, right? Because when you are present with yourself, that's when you know what to ask your spirit guides, for example, right? Okay, so that's the important thing. Have an intention. The other important thing is to know, we all see different. So I'm going to guide you to a place where I'm going to actually leave you. So I'm going to take you there. I'm sort of like your tour guide. And I'm gonna, how it is when you get, I mean, I don't know if you're very religious or anything, because we don't want to go too much into that. But you know how it is when when you're on a tour somewhere, city tour, and they bring you to church, and then you get like everybody gets silence because nobody wants to talk inside the church, and you get sort of like a couple of minutes in there to explore by yourself. So that's how what I do within, these guided journeys is that I take you there to a place where you can talk to your spirits, and then you get to talk to your spirits for a while, and then I call you back, and then I bring you back, to where we started. All right, so that's one thing. And every one of us sees differently, and I'm saying by seeing, I don't mean seeing through your eyes. Some people do visualize, some people have a deep knowing, some people have like a hearing. Sometimes you hear things and then some of us taste, feel, with all our senses. You can feel, smell, taste, all of it. Uh, so be open however the spiritual world wants to show up for you in that moment. And yeah, that's it. And then just allow yourself to see that. In case you don't see anything, that is also completely okay, because sometimes it's just not the right day. Sometimes it's not the right day, but it doesn't matter. You're still, please stay if you want to here within the circle, because you still get the energy. You still get that, and you can still do the journey. There's some people that stay on very focused, and then there's others that are very, sort of like drift away or maybe even fall asleep, because I know it's late, but that it doesn't mean that it's always, and it doesn't mean that your subconscious isn't on this journey with us. All right. So if you feel like it, stay, please. All right. What else do we have? I think I got all the points. If there's anything scary, I am protecting the circle with my spiritual guides. So if there is anything scary within the circle, please ask your spirit guides to show it less scary. Yes, you're allowed to say that. Ask your spirit guides to please show it less scary, because that's a thing. Because whatever is in here right now is part of us that wants healing, that wants support, that wants, right? So if something, or that is here to support you and just might look a little bit scary, all right? So ask them to show it softer, or to show it clearer. If it's something that you don't understand, ask them, say, dude, I'm not understanding, please show it clear. All right. Okay, I think I got everything. I got the most things. I'm gonna have a sip of water. You take your time, whether you want to be sitting or standing or laying down. Mm, Fasten your seatbelt and let's get going. Oh, and whenever you see me going a little bit like this to the side, it's because I have incense. I always like to have incense when I'm doing these journeys. For those of you seeing me. Yeah. So that's that part. Oh, and yeah, for the newbies also, because I'm already feeling her. She's so beautiful. We have a wonderful, I'm gonna say matrion of these spirit journeys, and she's a beautiful elephant who takes care of us and who also takes care of the circle. So I'm very excited to be feeling her right now in the circle. I feel my dragon, so I'm gonna call everybody in. Aloha, aloha, my beautiful spirit guides today. All of you who are out there, the ancestors of anybody watching, the ancestors, the spirit guides, the terrestrial and non-terrestrial spirit guides. Thank you so much for being here. All the magical creatures, aloha for you too. Thank you for coming in and keeping this circle safe, and keeping us safe, and being here with us and helping us and getting support. All the ancestors. Wow, so many coming in. Thank you so much to all the ancestors. Aloha for you too. Um, yes, the four elements, the four directions. Thank you. Mother Earth is here. Thank you so much for coming. Oh yes, because I'm seeing Mother Earth. Thank you for reminding me. If you don't have any specific intention, you can always have the intention of sending Mother Earth energy or our collective consciousness energy, because free peace or something like that. That's also very helpful and helps us sometimes get out of the uh, what's it called? Yeah, when we sort of like, when we feel as if when we feel like we can't help, that's the minimum that we can do. All right. Thank you for everybody showing up. And I'm going to give you a second to get sorted, and I'm going to give myself a second to sneeze, sneeze my nose, run my nose. Sorry, I forgot the name, but give me a second. Here we go. Sorry, my nose started to run. That's saying there's a lot of energy happening right now. Maybe yeah, just that one beforehand. If you feel like yawning, and see, I'm going to. If you feel like yawning, coughing, burping, sneezing like I just did, or having, if you have a runny nose, a lot of those are symbols of a lot of energy happening right now. And that is because we are all connected, and that happens every now and then. Especially because there is, a lot of energy happening right now. All right, my beautiful souls, let's get started. Find yourself a comfortable position, whether it's sitting or laying down, and then let's get started. I always like to start with the Pico Pico breath that I learned from my Hawaiian teachers, meaning inhaling through your crown chakra, letting it go through your whole body, and then exhaling it through your belly button. That gives you sort of like a nice and cool down. You can remember this kind of breathing because whenever you feel anxious or overwhelmed, a lot of the times, if you just take a couple of these conscious breaths, inhaling through your crown chakra, exhaling through your belly button, oh, it helps you, to come back. Hmm. To just be present with your body. Just be present with your body. And just, take a moment to tune in to see if there's any spots that want more relaxation, that are a little bit stiff, maybe. Some more energy moving, and then. All right. And whenever you're ready, allow yourself to get to a place in nature, any place in nature that you can imagine. Make it your own. Let it feel yours, and just take a moment to sort of like arrive there. Take in the place with all of your senses. Like maybe you're feeling the dirt beneath your feet, or maybe you are hearing the humming of some insects, or the leaves, the wind caressing the leaves of the trees. Maybe you're smelling some flowers, or maybe you're even tasting something in the air. Just take a moment to arrive here. Hmm. And while you are here, you start looking around, and then you might see something like a doorway or a little portal. Sometimes it's just, sort of like a hole beneath a tree. But instinctively, you're going to know that this is the entrance that we're looking for, the entrance to the other world, where you're going to meet your spirit guides. Go closer to that door or doorway or portal, and let's leap together into the other world. Let's take one step. When I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. And once I get to the number 3, we're all going to step through the portal. So let's do it as if we are holding hands together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Welcome. Welcome to the other world, this beautiful realm of where the spirits live, where the spirits are waiting for us. If you want to take a moment to just take this new place in for yourself, or if you can, maybe they're already waiting for you. Maybe you can already see your spiritual guides. And if not, use the intention to meet your spirit guides right now in this moment. Call them in, say, hey, aloha, or hello, beautiful spirit guides. I'm here. And I have this challenge for next week, and I would love your support. Please show yourself to me. Show yourself and be present with me. And just allow yourself for anybody who wants to come in to show up. Maybe it's one, maybe it's more than one. And give yourself a moment to say hello. If you haven't met them before, ask them who they are and maybe even what their job is in your life right now. And whenever you're ready, give them your intention. Tell them what you want support with, where you want help with, or even if it's that knowing where do I need help for the coming week. Here's the time, here's the place where you can go for it, where you can have your conversation. And whenever it's time to return, I will call you back. Finish your last words, your last conversation. Saying thank you to your spirit guides for their support today, for their knowledge that they have for you. Let's give them a big thank you. And well knowing that you can come back to this place whenever you feel like it. Thank you so much. Let's say goodbye and return to our entrance from where we entered, our portal, our little doorway. And knowing that you can always come back here and that your spiritual guides are always with you. Let's take a step back together through the portal, back to the place in nature from where we started. Let's take it at 3 and 1, 2, 3, and let's step through and come back to our place in nature. And like in the beginning, let's take a moment to arrive here. Let anything sink in that we just received. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. And let's just take this place in with all our senses. Listening back if we hear some birds in the trees, or if we feel the sun on our skin or the dirt beneath our feet. And with that, we start breathing again, inhaling through our crown chakra, universal energy, letting it go through our whole body. And this time, instead of exhaling it through our belly button, we exhale it through our feet into the floor. Thank you so much, dear universe. Let's receive some more. And let it go through, inhaling it through your crown chakra, exhaling it through your feet. And allow yourself to feel more and more put back into your body. And whenever you feel like you've earthed back into your body, like you have been grounded back into your body, take one last deep breath like this and open your eyes and come back into the here and the now. Thank you so much, my beautiful souls. I'm gonna leave you, let it sink in. If you want to write out what you saw. And if you feel like you need it a little bit more, keep on breathing, inhaling through your crown chakra, exhaling through your feet. So that your body can feel into it more. Thank you so much and have a wonderful time. Bye.